and welcome back to AFTV's Women's Football Show with myself, Pippa Monique. We are giving you the weekly news surrounding Arsenal women's football team and the Women's Super League. And this week, my special guest is Samantha Jade Miller, co-coms, commentator, social media content creator and ex-football player. Is there anything you don't do?
Maybe a few things.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
It's
How
great
are you?
to have you on the show because you are like one of the most knowledgeable women in the football women's scene.
Thank you.
Because you go to so many games, you're a co-commentator, as I mentioned, and you've played. Please tell us what teams you played for.
I did the rounds. I played for West Ham, Tottenham, London Bees. Gonna get a lot of hate for that, aren't I?
No, probably not.
Yeah, so no, really enjoyed playing actually. Play here and there now, but mainly, as you said, going to games.
I have to ask though, before we get into the show, you're still quite young, and like women's football's taking off. Like, what made you stop playing or not go into it professionally?
Women's football now has reached new heights. So I'd say when I was playing, it wasn't quite at the level it's at now. So for example, when I was at West Ham and Tottenham, they weren't in the WSL at the time. It just seemed like, for me, that there wasn't so much of a career progression in it at the time. Now there definitely
is. You kick
is.
yourself a bit now?
No, because now look at the standard of women's football. You've got internationals coming from all different leagues, all different countries. It's such a high standard now, and even you look at teams like West Ham, they wiped the slate clean and got in a whole load of new players. So would I have even, still been there? Who knows? No, I get a lot of enjoyment from promoting the women's game and actually just being at games and being involved with it. So I wouldn't say I kick myself. I think it depends what time you come into it. So now for players coming in at a younger age, there's so much they can do and they can get to the top and they can make a full-time career of it now. I think I was maybe just wrong timing. I wasn't in it at that point. Yeah.
Well, now you're here. You can help me on the show, give us some insight on the weekend's games. Of course, we're going to kick it off with Arsenal women, maintaining their spot at the top of the table in the nice lead. What did you think of the game in all? Did you catch the highlights?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I watched the highlight show of all the games. I like to get my fix. Yeah. Arsenal, what can I say? They always impress me. Last season, phenomenal. Won the league. Now people look at them as a team to beat. Yeah. And they're sitting right at the top of the table.
It's still very tight though.
It is tight. Yeah. It is tight. And I quite like that. It's very competitive at the moment. It could be Manchester City, it could be Chelsea, it could be Arsenal. And it's looking like it could come down to when those teams play each other now for the final time. So it's getting exciting. But I love watching Arsenal. I'd say Arsenal are one of the best teams to watch, just in terms of how they play. Kim Little's goal against Reading, if we look back to that one, it was the collective team effort. Just the way they made that goal was special. It was.
Even the goal against Birmingham City on the weekend, that was complete training ground stuff. And I'm quite disappointed in Birmingham City because it felt like their defence just went to sleep. For Kim Little to be able to get a free header on that, of all the space around her.
I was watching and I was like, Kim Little literally had time to have a cup of tea and then go for goals. So, I mean, it's not often Kim Little scores headers. So underrated, by the way. One of just the most technical players. Love watching her. But that's what she does so well. She just like sneaks away from players, creates a space for herself. Even when she's on the ball, she looks like she's got loads of time, loads of space. But that's just because how good she is as a player.
Yeah, amazing. But the biggest news surrounding Arsenal women this week is not the result and maintaining the lead. It's more so Emma Mitchell.
I know.
So for those who don't know, before we get into it, Emma Mitchell is a Arsenal player. She's still an Arsenal player. Yeah. She's gone on loan to Spurs until the end of the season. Now, when I first saw the Arsenal women put out the tweet, I looked at this and I thought, this can't be right. And I thought, I'm not going to react too soon. Let me gather my thoughts. And I went back to the tweet and I saw so many reactions from fans that were like, this is an outrage. What the hell is this? What is going on? Why is she going to Spurs? You don't do that. It's a bit crazy. What's your stance on that?
Do you know what? I didn't even think it was a big deal. When I read the comments, I was like, wow, this is being made into such a big deal. For me, it's not at all. And I think a lot of people making those comments maybe don't watch regular women's football. I'm not being funny, right? But if Arsenal and Tottenham in the WSL were challenging each other at the top, so if Tottenham were in the mould of Chelsea, Man City, Arsenal, fighting it out to win the league, then you'd understand. You'd be like,
it wouldn't even be a thing.
Wait a minute, what is going on here? But they're not challenging, and it just makes complete sense. So Emma Mitchell being at Arsenal, Tottenham and Arsenal obviously close together, it means she doesn't have to start moving far away. She can stay where she is. And actually, I think Arsenal are very intelligent. What they've done is they've strengthened Tottenham, who had the likes of, they just played Manchester City. So it's strengthening Tottenham to help try and beat their rivals.
Yeah.
So
do you reckon? Is that your stance?
Yeah, I think it's an intelligent move by Arsenal. They're thinking, let's strengthen Tottenham when Tottenham play the likes of Chelsea or Manchester City. They've got more of a chance with a great player like Emma Mitchell. She's got experience, very good at going forward from a fullback position. So why not? And it's not like she's going to be playing against Arsenal. She won't be able to play in that game.
In any competition.
So yeah, for me, really not a big deal. Completely blown out of proportion.
It's funny you say that, because I feel like there's only one other person that agrees with you, and
really?
that is Tim Stillman, who I co-host the Arsenal Women's Arsecast podcast. That's a mouthful, isn't it? On arsblog.com, and this is what he tweeted. Right, he did get not a lot of backlash, but he said, firstly, Arsenal and Spurs is a derby, sure, but it's not a rivalry in women's football, not yet. This is the first season that Spurs have ever been in the top flight. The clubs operate at different levels. Secondly, the pool of clubs is smaller in women's football. There are only 12 professional clubs in England, and some of those are professional in name only. The salary differentials are big. There are only so many clubs you can go to. Thirdly, remember the money is very different. It's not like the Premier League. The players can't always just up and move at the drop of a hat. Lots of players make moves for geographical reasons. If you're on a 6-month loan, staying in the same area makes total sense. This makes sense for club and player. Emma can't play against Arsenal, but can play against their title rivals. Tottenham are not competing with Arsenal. She gets games and doesn't have to uproot. There's more. Women's football is different. The money, the context and the history are distinct from men's football. It's its own game with its own context, history, rivals and financial implications. I should point out, for balance, there are invested and knowledgeable women's football fans that disagree with me on this, so I guess it's not cut and dried. Well, you're knowledgeable and invested in the women's football game, and you kind of agree with him.
Listen, the main thing for Emma Mitchell is game time.
Yeah. We have to remember as well, it's an Olympic year, Tokyo 2020. Even though she was coming back from an injury in the last few years, she tried so hard and still didn't get a call up for the World Cup last year.
Yeah.
And I don't think, she didn't take that well as well.
Yeah, I mean, you need to be playing regular football.
Yeah.
You need regular game time. So you look at Tottenham, she can slot in well in that team. So that's regular minutes for her. Like Tim and I both said, she doesn't have to move. It seems like a perfect match.
Yeah.
Listen, if someone like Danny Rose in the men's game went on loan to Arsenal, you would think what is going on. But this is just completely different.
Yeah.
And I guess some people might think that, and like you said, a lot of people will have a completely different opinion, but some people can't get out their heads that rivalry. But the rivalry isn't quite there in the women's game yet compared to like the men's game. Even some of the players that were joining Arsenal didn't really, if they're coming from abroad, they didn't completely understand. So yeah, it's just not quite there yet. Give
it a few more years and you'll never see it happen again, I doubt it.
But the North London derby at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium was incredible to be at.
Yeah,
I had goosebumps. Yeah.
I wish I was sat with the Arsenal fans then, because every time I went to celebrate, I did celebrate to be fair, and a lot of Tottenham fans were not happy with me. One of them shouted at me and I was like, well, what can I do?
No, it was just that crowd. And I was doing the co-commentary at that game, and I've never done co-commentary where I haven't even been able to hear myself.
Yeah, it was loud. It was amazing.
When Tottenham won the ball, the stadium just erupted, and I was like, what? Like, I was kind of taken back by it, and it was just, that was a special occasion.
Amazing. Well, moving on to other fixtures over the weekend, I feel like the biggest surprise ever that tops that, Bristol City got their first win against Manchester United. What went wrong there?
I was watching the highlights and Manchester United had their chances.
I know.
There was one ball, lovely ball over the top. Ella Toone took it first time and I think it hit the inside of the post. I think that moment summed up the game for them from what I saw. It just looked like it just wasn't going in the back of the net. Ebony Salmon came back to haunt her old club with that goal. So, I don't know. I think with Bristol, when you've got a manager like Tanya Oxtoby, you do have that relentlessness. You'll keep going, even if things aren't going your way. You'll overcome that, and it was Bristol's day.
And she was so proud. Congratulations to them, because now they've moved up from the relegation spot. They've moved up the table a little bit, so it's great for them.
I actually saw the Manchester United fans were suggesting that maybe Casey Stoney got the lineup wrong.
Really?
Yeah, it was an interesting one.
But Casey Stoney did put on Instagram that she was totally to blame for that game.
Maybe
she's
then.
not on the pitch.
I can't believe someone like Jess Sigsworth isn't starting. Such a talent. Like, whenever I've watched her, she puts in the most unbelievable crosses. Like, really influential to that team. But you know, she can't even get in the starting lineup at the moment.
What's happening there?
I was at Manchester United's game against West Ham, and Manchester United, like, you know, West Ham had 10 players and they still won the game. So I'm not sure. I think with both the new teams that have been promoted to the WSL, they've done extremely well. But there's just times where I'm not sure what's quite happened, but it's just not been their day, and they haven't been able to overcome the situation, and they've lost. But overall, they have done well. They
shouldn't be too hard on themselves, because they're still sitting in fourth, which is literally just underneath the three competitors at the top there. So they haven't done too bad.
Yeah, they don't concede many goals, Man United. Yeah. They're very tight at the back.
It's good. Well, moving on to the next game of the weekend, the big one, I should say. This has got all the media attention. Chelsea 3, Reading 1.
It was crazy. Yeah. I mean, so I was at the Tottenham game, and then I saw on Twitter it said Reading 1-0, and of course
Farrell Williams,
most
capped England player. Yeah.
No, Farrell Williams is unbelievable talent. She's still got it. She's still 100%. Going strong. So Reading 1-0, and then Grace Maloney just comes steaming out her goal.
Clattered Sam Kerr, that's literally just arrived to the WSL. Welcome to the Women's Super League.
That's Sam what Kerr. The tweet said.
Oh, did it?
The tweets were like, welcome to WSL
she
football.
Dived face first into the grass. Yeah. What was Grace Maloney thinking?
I don't know. I heard, I think it was Kieran, who's really knowledgeable on women's football as well, and he said that maybe Grace didn't quite realise how quick Sam Kerr is, and just sort of came out, and then Sam was just so quick.
It wasn't only the fact that she came out to Sam Kerr, she literally was out of the box and handballed, like she grabbed the ball out of her area and then took out Sam Kerr. And I was thinking, you do realise you're a goalkeeper?
I think it was just a moment of madness. I'm not even sure
Might have been a bit of intimidation.
What was happening. But that gives Chelsea such an advantage. I mean, it's hard to play against Chelsea with 11 players, let alone 10 players. I think that changes the whole dynamics of a game when you've got a sending off. And for me, the main thing was I can't believe how quickly Beth England and Sam Kerr are linking up.
Oh, that link-up play. But
it wasn't even just for the goal. Yeah. It was throughout the game.
It was nice to see. I have to admit myself, it was nice to see when I was watching the highlights. I was like, oh, Chelsea are balling right now. I'm worried. Because you've got to remember as well, they've got a game in hand. So they've only played 10 games. We've played 11. We are on 30 points and Chelsea are on 26. So it's closer than you think.
It really is. I think Chelsea have had a couple of draws.
Yeah.
And
Chelsea.
Oh
yeah, they've got a couple of draws. But they've been unbeaten.
They're unbeaten. But they drew against Liverpool.
Yep.
Which was a shock to some people. So it's interesting. Hopefully that won't come back to haunt them, because Manchester City, Nick Cushing was saying that the reason Manchester City didn't get as close as they would have liked to Arsenal last season in winning the title was because of draws.
Yeah.
But Chelsea look strong at the moment. I think Sam Kerr is only going to strengthen them. I think she has to miss 2 games now because of the Olympic qualifiers for Australia. But other than that, Sam Kerr, bearing in mind, right, she'd only been here a week, probably didn't expect to start straight away. Yeah. Ramona Bachmann, I think, was ill, so that gave her the chance. And just from the off, didn't score obviously, but link-up play with Beth England.
Amazing. I've got to ask you though, where does that leave Fran Kirby?
It'll be an interesting one, because obviously there's Fran Kirby, Ramona Bachmann, Bethany England, Sam Kerr. And I think a lot of it might be based around Sam Kerr, who can link up well with her. I mean, I still see room for Fran Kirby in the team, I really do, and I think she's an unbelievable talent. Yeah. I think people all the time get onto Fran's back, if she's injured, and then when she comes back from injury, they expect her to be straight from the off. But she is an incredible talent. I think people, underestimate what she can do. I think it'd be great to see Bethany England, Fran Kirby and Sam Kerr sort of all linking up. That'd be,
Nice one. Right, you mentioned that Chelsea was the only team they drew against. Well, they got draws this season, and one of them, surprisingly, was Liverpool. Liverpool are not doing so great. If we was to compare them, which we shouldn't do, to their male counterparts, Liverpool in the Premier League at the top of the table, and in the Women's League, they're right at the bottom. They've gone down, they've lost another game, and they lost 1-0 to Brighton. What is going wrong at Liverpool?
It's an interesting one with Liverpool, because if you look back, there was one point where Liverpool came like bottom of the league, and the next season they won the league. So I think it depends how much backing they get and support they get. I'm going to guess at the moment they don't have the full support they need. I think it's a shame. Vicky Jepsen, you know, she's really passionate, and I think she's great. She just needs that maybe more support. And I think, if you look at where Liverpool men's team are, they need to in some way help the women's team.
100%.
I do think though that Rachel Furness going there will be a massive help.
Yeah, that was her first game, and she added so much quality to the team. It's just a shame they couldn't get on the score sheet. I know Rinzala Babajide came close, and that, like you said, it just like depicts the game, because she just hit it past the post. You just thought, what's going wrong? Why are you not getting any goals? Yeah,
I mean, I think Rachel Furness sort of adds so much quality in terms of off the pitch, on the pitch. She's very vocal. Like, she's just an enjoyable character to be around. I think she can really lift the spirits of players, especially when you're not doing well and you're at the bottom of the table. I hope they start to do well. They made new signings. Maybe they need a bit more time to gel, but they aren't actually playing bad. And they're not conceding many goals.
They haven't won a game this season.
No, but I'm saying the main thing is scoring goals.
Yeah.
You know, they're losing against some of the top teams 1-0. So it's just they need to score.
Yeah.
I think in terms of how they're defending and things like that, they aren't doing too bad. They need to get goals.
Do you think they can save themselves from relegation? Because it would be a shame to see them go down.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine if Liverpool men's win the league and the women's team get relegated? It'd be a bit crazy. Yeah. But I hope Liverpool stay up. I think there's still a chance, but it's not looking good for them at the moment.
At all.
No.
Okay, the next game, you was at this game.
Yeah.
Spurs v Man City, of course. Man City absolutely dominated that game. 4-1.
They really did. From the off.
Yeah.
Literally, the second the whistle blew for the start of the game, it was like, bang, we're here. I'll tell you what's quite exciting though. So Pauline Bramer, Ellen White and Lauren Hemp were phenomenal.
That goal from Pauline, by the way, oh my God.
Unbelievable. And also Janine Beckett. So you had Janine Beckett just up and down. I think she's used to that transitional play. Really suits her style. She was just up and down like a yo-yo, giving so much energy, putting crosses in. And then Hemp creates so much going forward. And she was just linking up so well with Ellen White, which is so good for England because that is the future. We could see those two linking up together. And Pauline Bramer, I'm really pleased for her because I feel like she's had such bad injuries, really struggled. But since she's come back, she's just like been on fire.
What do you think for Man City? What do you think for Spurs, first of all, for the season?
I think they've had a mixed season. I think overall, like pretty good considering they've just come up. You have to remember they're not at the stage that like Arsenal, Man City are all at, where they've had the same, like a lot of the players together as professional footballers for a long time. You know, it's Tottenham's. I really admire how Tottenham have worked their way up.
Yeah.
Like I've seen the hard work from when I was there. I think Kwan and Karen are a nice management duo. They played fairly well for about, let's just say, 70 minutes against Arsenal, and then Arsenal's fitness and quality sort of shone through. But they've had some good performances. They had that win against West Ham at the London Stadium, so they've been impressive. But against Man City, they would admit, and being there, I saw this, the first half they didn't turn up. And
they managed to get a penalty though, which Steph Houghton really shocks me. There was no need for her to go in for that foul to push in the box, especially when they're leading.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what that was for, but Tottenham did well to get the penalty, and I think they needed it at that moment because confidence must have been low after Man City dominating like that. But Man City were too strong for them. They seemed a bit intimidated by them in the first half. I'm not sure.
I mean, wouldn't you be? Yeah. They've got so many quality players. Not to say that Tottenham don't, but Man City have been doing this for a few seasons now. You know?
Yeah, I mean, Man City look like a more exciting team going forward now, like at this very moment, than maybe compared to the beginning of the season. I think it's disappointing for them to go out the Champions League so early. So I think their main focus now is the league.
Touching on the Champions League, do you think that's going to cause problems for Arsenal? Because we're literally now the only team left in the Champions League. Chelsea and Man City don't have to worry about that this year, even though Chelsea came close last season. Do you think that we can get caught out from that?
I think you've got an advantage.
Really?
As in when you're not in the Champions League. No. I think you've got an advantage when you're not in the Champions League in terms of trying to win the league.
Yeah.
You've got less games, and obviously Champions League is travelling involved and things like that. But Arsenal, as I said, love their style, the way they play, their philosophy. Joe Montemurro, I highly rate. Great guy, by the way. Just amazing. Such a nice person as well.
And a great
but
coach.
Also tactically, he just gets it spot on. Always finds a way for them to win. I feel like Arsenal don't have loads of squad depth.
Yeah, there's not really much.
But very strong team. I think you've got a chance. Arsenal definitely have a chance, but it does make it harder for sure.
Yeah, of course. That was a bit of an obvious question, wasn't it?
No.
Then the last game of the weekend that didn't happen, West Ham v Everton. So we didn't get a chance to see Izzy Christiansen make an appearance in the WSL. But do you know why the game was cancelled?
Yeah,
due to sickness. Yeah. A bit of lasagna gate there, no?
Lasagna gate. That's funny. Yeah, a bit bizarre, but I suppose if you're ill, you're ill. I don't know.
Apparently it was like majority of the squad. So like maybe something's gone around.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure someone said that there was, as in general, not just in football, but a bad flu going around. So I guess West Ham got unlucky and got it, yeah.
Well, hopefully they'll be fit soon because the FA Cup fourth round draw has taken place. It took place on Monday, and Arsenal will be facing West Ham at Rush Green for the FA Cup. There's some other juicy fixtures in there. There's a Manchester derby.
I know.
Which should be exciting.
I saw a load of fans saying, "Is this fixed?"
No, I would have liked to see a bit of a mix up there with more WSL teams playing championship teams.
Yeah, I think it'll be a bit of a revenge match for Man City, Man United, because I think people probably expected Man City to beat Man United in the league, and it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think there's definitely a rivalry there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there must be.
There is. Yeah.
What other fixtures take your fancy? So there's some fourth tier teams in there and third tier. We've got Lewis v Billericay Town or Actonians, Charlton Athletic v Chelsea, Everton v London Bees, Burnley v Leicester, London City Lionesses v Reading, Spurs v Barnsley, Huddersfield Town, Ipswich Town is in there, Southampton FC Women v Coventry to United.
Do you know what? That just reminded me when I played for London Bees in the FA Cup against Durham, broke my wrist.
Oh God.
In the first 5 minutes, put a tackle in, and just as I landed, my wrist just sort of hit the floor and broke.
No way.
But I didn't know it was broken, so I carried on. And then after the game, I said, I'm just going to drive home. And someone was like, "Are you sure your wrist looks out of place?" and then I got told it was broken. So I think adrenaline sort of got me through. But actually, I had a poor game just because I was in so much pain. Yeah. But I think it would have been more painful if I wasn't running on adrenaline.
What was the result?
I knew you were going to ask this. It was bad.
Oh, how bad?
It was pretty...
6-0?
More. So and then... we won't talk about this. It was
I need to know the score.
a bad experience. You can Google it. I think it was about 9.
Oh, 9-0?
Something like that, 9, yeah.
So your team didn't get a goal at all?
I can't remember if it was 9-0 or 9-1. It's a bit of a blur. I just remember having a broken wrist and trying to get through the game. It was not good. So that was my memory. And obviously they've now got Everton.
Oh, that's going to be tricky.
Yeah, Everton have impressed me a lot. I don't think people expected them to be where they are.
Where are they now? They're fifth in the table, yeah.
Yeah, but in a way, I think you would expect it purely because of Willie Kirk. Such a great manager. Players actually want to play for him, and he's really good at developing young talent. So, and now they've got Izzy Christiansen back.
I'm still waiting to see her playing.
Yeah, I think if I was to sort of try and analyse why she's gone to Everton, I think, near where she's from, played there before, but also a chance to get, regular game time, and for Phil Neville to see her like looking forward towards the Olympics and the Euros. So
it's amazing now that so many big names are now being attracted to the Women's Super League.
Yeah.
It's only time will tell what it will be like in 5 years' time.
I know.
Maybe even sooner.
That's what I mean. It's always evolving. So when I played, it was just, there just wasn't this.
Yeah.
Now, for the WSL to be attracting the biggest names is like really incredible, and it makes it exciting.
Yeah.
Like, I want to go to Chelsea to watch Sam Kerr. I'm actually going on the weekend, but I'm really looking forward to it.
There's Arsenal v Chelsea.
That's going to be big.
Arsenal are playing Brighton first this weekend, and then the week after that, Arsenal Chelsea at home, London derby.
That could be a real decider. That's going to be massive.
Cannot wait for that game. So make sure you stay tuned for all the Arsenal fixtures and all those big games coming up. We've got another derby after that, the North London derby. The league's just getting real tasty. I'm loving it. Samantha, I'm so grateful for you coming on the show, giving us your knowledge, your insight, and keeping us updated on the women's football. So thank you for joining, and thank you all for watching the Women's Football Show.